We are on now.
It is? Okay. Welcome, everybody. This is the 11th session. Henry is leading, thanks to Mapleton Library for sponsorship. And we are going to continue with the painting of tigers. Today's painting is going to be a strong one, just like the libraries have done throughout the past 2 years. A very tough time. Today happened to be a National Library Workers Day. So thank you to my coworkers. Thank you to all the library staff out there. Thank you for participants who supported our library program. We are recording this program again for future review and live streaming. So if you do not want to be recorded, you could turn off your video camera. You could change your name also if you do not want your name to be visible. Thank you very much. And here is Henry.
Thank you, Yongle. Happy Librarians Day. Today we're going to continue our Fusion Watercolor class based on this year calendar. So we have done 8, actually, let me see, yeah, 8 months so far. So we're down to this month, right? Last month we did the sunflower. So this is September. This theme is not very seasonal. It could be any season, I think, but late summer or early autumn, presumably. But to me, I think it's very important to mention the feng shui idea, the geomancy in Chinese culture, or Eastern, Southeast or East Asia country like Korea. They also believe in feng shui. So in any house or building, it's surrounded by things that we call mountains. In the front, there's what is the vermilion bird, 朱雀, and the left is the dragon, the green dragon, and right is the tiger or the white tiger, and usually, when we sit against in front of a wall, the back is the 玄武 or the black turtle. So that's the constellation of Chinese culture. And as to, I wrote in email, you can take a look about the tiger and the dragon, specifically in the 12 zodiac animals. They are symbols of power, and like especially imperial power. So in this painting, we try to depict that kind of confidence or majesty, that kind of feel. With originally, I thought I suggested they actually did adopt this idea on the preface, the preface page. We did this tiger. It's only a stone sculpture. The traditional Chinese stone sculpture, like tombs, like you see in front of the imperial tombs or the general subject around the emperors. If you go to Xi'an or Beijing or other places, you'll see those kind of stone sculpture. Also in my hometown Nanjing, there's a famous Ming Dynasty founder's tomb that's decorated with this kind of stone sculpture. They are made of a whole piece of granite or some kind of sandstone, maybe. Anyway, so the stone sculpture is very different than what we, if we compare to Western realistic sculpture. I think, let me pull out some some images to describe the difference. Okay, hold on. I think I put some in the handout. You can take a look of that. Here are some pictures I want to show you. Okay, can you see it? See. Okay, here's one. This is a early Han Dynasty, dated about 117 BC, before Christ. Okay, it's about more than 2,000 years old. When I first saw this sculpture in the Xi'an suburb of Xi'an, I was so impressed. And I'm not the only person who are amazed by this kind of stone sculpture. They're life size, like a tiger size, but it's built, it's chiseled just with minor touches on a natural shaped, chaotic stone, you might say. So many artists have developed their own interpretation or aesthetic theory about this, and one of my friend and also art teacher in my landscape class series several years ago, he mentioned the seeking stone theory. So he think any art. He taught a class on Zen landscape painting. So he will start with just a random blob kind of, and then find the to give details after that to resemble something. But basically it starts with a chaos, if you like, with the only minimal touch of by the artist, the alive like animal or figure is here. We can see a tiger is about to jump, right? So for Chinese art, we emphasize on the spirit, the emotion, spirit, emphasize on the wholeness, not details, not the hairs, but details. Even the detail should serve the purpose for the whole, right? And the 神韵 or 气韵, the charm, the breath rhythm, it's hard to translate. The spirit resonance. There are many translations about this term, 神韵, the spirit resonance. That kind of, so this is another side of this tiger. Okay. Another note is the inspiration from this picture. You can also see from my background. It's the place called Zhangjiajie, and it get first noticed by an artist, Wu Guanzhong. He was a French-trained Chinese oil painter. He went there to this plein air sketch, a painting made this place very famous in the early 80s. Later, because of the movie Avatar, where it was a prototype for creating the what's that star name? Pandora, I think. The floating. Have you seen this movie? I think they got version 2 last year, right? I didn't. Second episode I didn't see, but I was so impressed by this one, the original one. I saw twice, I think, the 3D version and the non-3D version. I think it was very popular, right? And this is the original, the floating peaks, because there were clouds in the morning or rainy day, misty day, and the mountain looks like a floating stone. That's inspiration for the movie Avatar. Okay. let's take a look of what we did here. Oh, I tried to compare this Western. This is probably a modern sculpture, but as you can still see, it's more realistic, like a real tiger. Compared to the Han Dynasty stone sculpture, you can see the difference between culture and aesthetics when we talk about the spirit, the wholeness, the rhythm, the resemblance and dissemblance in between. Not has to do with the detail. Okay, I tried to find that. Okay, here I will just show you the actual work I did. Okay, so after I received the prompt, this one actually take a lot of back and forth, and here's the first one I did. It's not finished, but I touched it up with the computer. They don't like the color, so I added more greens. They want the color of green more, so I just touch up right now. I did some on computer until they satisfied. I did the watercolor. So this is the second version, is the watercolor rough. We call this ink value study. Maybe the first one, you might say, value study in the Western painting context, and we call this color rough. I did this on my sketchbook. It's a mixed media paper. You can use a regular watercolor pad like this. I also use this for my class. You can see. Just to do small studies, it's good to keep them in the same book, And then this particular brand has the advantage like this. You can take it off, and you can use it. And when you finish, you can put it back, and it will not hurt. This what is it called? Hooks. It is permanent. I mean, you can reuse. You can put it back just like that, and you can if you put it in a different direction or something, you can rearrange the order. That's why I suggest to use this one. Okay, so we can do some touch-ups here. I got the Japanese traditional pens here, and we can just use that. I mix several different greens here to get the greens we need. So this one's already mounted on silicone dry mounting papers. It's not going to water. At the later I just used the arches rough papers, so to show the color vibrancy that we want.
Henry?
Yes.
Is this the Japanese watercolor?
Yeah, this is the
traditional
Japanese sumi color. There are several brands. This is this brand I got from Amazon. We do have another more traditional brand, I think. We on our website also, if you want. You can also get from other suppliers. So this is
Is the Japanese color brighter, more saturated than the color?
I think they are more opaque. They are more yeah, the color is a little stronger than the Chinese Maurice colors. So many contemporary Chinese artists also use them in their Chinese painting, I think. So yes, it's more especially there are many ready-made colors, maybe very convenient for some of you don't like to mix your own colors, maybe.
Thank you.
And yeah, you can always mix your colors. You don't have to buy this. You can just buy this like a 12. You know, I have used almost exhausted this one. This is the brand we have. I don't have the cover here. It's more in time. I think that's the brand. Yeah, this is a little stronger. Like this color is very strong. There are different between brands also. So yeah, they're very opaque. If you use it on watercolor paper, I think it's like a very easy to get like a pastel look. And you see, I can put this green on top of the brown. That's a very classical approach to. So this color requires a base color, which is either an ink or a dark dark ink. It shows the best on ink. So that's the difference. So you have to use it with the ink. You can cover ink. We call this embedding technique. Embedding, like embedding a diamond on jewelry, like in xiang. So usually the color is a little bit smaller than the base, so that like embedding on the metal with embedding a treasure stone or diamond on a metal base. That's called the xiang in the crafts, right? In jewelry. So that's the same word we use it here. The concept is like that. Anyway, should I finish the coloring anyway? You can do a sketch if you want to prepare your painting. You can use regular watercolor, or in this case this is the mulberry number 1. I think it has less stringing fiber than the number 2. Okay, another thing is you can apply the green and the blue colors very thickly to cover. You can also make it semi-transparent, translucent like this. Could be very subtle also. So we call this lesser green and the blue style. The greater style is more like Gombi or elaborate style painting. It's heavy colored, or you can use more water just to water it down. Okay, you can do wet into wet. So this is how you usually do. You do the ink as the backbone of your painting, and then you wash it to make it more misty with the color. The color usually goes beyond where the mist is, that creates the feel of the mist. Okay. And let's do a Western style one. Okay, this is just a quick review of the process I went through, and then we'll try to make another version of this this watercolor today. Okay, on arches paper. Okay, this is what we did. Put it aside. So I'm using the arches rough, 140 pound. You can make a pencil mark just to narrow it. If this rectangular, you can make it more squarish. I think it's 12 by 13, so the height is a little bit shorter than the width. You can paint a little wider, but if you paint like the standard size, 11 by 16 or 12 by 16, it may look different because the qi would change. The composition maybe you need to adapt to that more. So let me just keep this. Okay. Then we will use a pencil to draw the contour of each block, the foreground. So make sure the foreground is not in the dead center. So that's the middle area. You want to keep it loose. Okay. You want to keep it open, this area, and not just in the middle, but a little bit like to the side, and then you break that with a rock, with a maybe a tiger shape, but not since in this painting we have the real tiger standing on the cliff, the edge of the cliff there. So I don't want to compete with that. So I didn't make this stone to look too much like the tiger, but it looks like some kind of animal is fine. Just more ambiguous. There are pine trees or bushes on the side of that. Okay, there's a host stone, and then there's guest or child, whatever you like, minor or supporting. Okay. Don't go too much detail, but just blocking in the proportion is important. So this is the platform where the tiger is. I try to do this higher, but there's a perspective. It's a Western perspective, so we have to make it look believable. So maybe just this high, and then this. Okay, this is almost aligned with this. It's more inside a little bit. This is the triangle shape. The tiger sitting there, and then goes down, and then there's the overlapping suggests depths. So the tree is in front of this cliff. Okay, yeah, this little stone must be lower. So I should have an eraser here. This would be a little lower. More on this side. Okay, I think I made a little bit too much, so I don't have much room. Now you can enlarge it. It doesn't matter. When I paint, actually I paint broader. They crop it, so you can since you have the extra margin, you can paint a little wider and frame it later. You don't have to change everything. You just broaden your width, yeah, if needed. Okay, this one goes down, and then there's a mountain, distant mountain that's behind. Okay. There's a little stuff, maybe a little tiger shaped stone there. Needle peak, we call it in Southern Song Dynasty landscape. This kind of, they are real. If you look at the picture behind me, you can see them, right? In Zhangjiajie, they are just unbelievable needle peaks. Right? And there's a green dragon or something there, and some sculpture on top of the intervals in the size, large, small, medium. Okay, there's another, something like that. Some exposed cliff. We need to save it as we do the greens. Maybe we use a different color, like a bronze. Just roughly. I didn't have the quite saved as I used the opaque. This time I may just save it. And this tree here is a pine tree. The crown is like a flat, very typical pine tree, and some other branches here. I try to connect them somehow, so it goes to this direction. This I'm not sure where the light is. Looks like from the left. So if you don't know, just assume the light is from the top left. So there are some holes in between the branches. That the negative shape is very important. Then as important as the tree itself. So just draw something like that. If you have taken the classical Chinese landscape class with me, you're familiar with the pine trees, right? So in any group, you should have like three, like a main stock, a main trunk, medium, and a small, or something like that. So they're not equally sized or treated. Okay, so and then some other trees. I don't have to. Okay, now we're going to do the sky first. You have to make sure that the pencil is very light. I use the 2B or something, 4B. That's too dark, but that's the only way I can show you. I think. Look at my. Should I leave this light out? I think it's better to keep it on. Okay. It's a little bit kind of glare. Okay. I use a background wash brush to wet the sky, especially outside the mountain. But it could be. You don't have to be very precise. I think the contour doesn't have to be like very sharp. You can just wet this part even, because this distant mountain doesn't have to be very hard. Just like that. So you can leave some unpainted, and then I'll use. I think I will use the Watercolor. So the brand I use is a Core. I got some on the palette already. Okay, let's see. This is the small. Let's see if I can do this. Looks like it will work. Okay. So I'll use a little bit yellow.
Henry,
Yeah.
which kind of paper are you using for today?
This is the Arches rough.
Cold press or hot press?
It's a cold press.
Cold press.
Yeah, the rough is even rougher than regular. Okay. Grain. It's the
Thank you.
grain with the rougher grains. Yeah, 12 by 16 is the size. You can use the smaller ones. You don't have to use this big. I try to keep the same size as the original painting I did. Okay, so I'll just use a little bit yellow to start with. So this ochre color is basically make the white not so snow white, you know. It's so light, so it will not be noticed. If you don't use any other color, you just like white still, but it has a little bit color in it. Okay, then I use a little what is this? Crimson, I think. Today I try to do auspicious color like the vermilion sky. Okay, so maybe I use more red than the original. I don't have to save that tigers. I just go through that, and then I'll use some yellow, cadmium yellow, and some hot red to make a vermilion. Vermilion sky. The vermilion bird on the south, right? It's also as I mentioned earlier in another class, I think the first one, right? With the tiger, the sky, the first month, right? We did is 鸿运当头. As a feng shui, they like the red, vermilion sky. It's like good luck symbol. But keep it light. I can maybe make a little bit purple. Maybe. Yeah, the mountain is purple, so we don't have to use purple, I think. mountain would be purple. Just to finish that. You don't have to avoid those little sculptures on top. Just you can even paint it. Just I think we can do the bronze or the. Oops, I got some greens already. Just some gray, brown, something. Got some dirty color. Just want to use that hat here. Okay, this layer has to do with the light, the color of the lights. So we try to keep it very light, diluted. So we can do some yellow here. Just well, actually, the cool side is more blue. I think I tend to do the dark first, but usually in watercolor we need to save that to the last. So let's just do. We've got some purple blue kind of color here, just to finish the first wash with very light colors. Okay. Just get rid of all the white, except some highlights. Maybe on this stone, I think I missed it. Okay. Some blue color. When you get to the more distant, you got more blues, right? So you can add more blue. Okay, let's just add some oranges to the top. This tiger is orange anyway. It's very light. It could go beyond the contour you draw. That is okay. So because this is so light, we'll redefine it later. Okay. There's 2 layers. We can use trees to separate them. Don't worry about that. Okay. And here we want to extend that all the way down here. You can use pressure. Even with the same color, if you do it quickly, you got flying whites like that, and then you can go back to add a little water, fill in the rest. Some skipping is okay. We call the flying white in watercolor pearl white, very like little beads, not like a pearl, shiningness in the. So let me just wet the whole thing here with the whatever left on my brush, and then we do some wet into wet to create some mist feel. And you can use ultramarine and some ultraviolet, or you can mix some ultramarine with crimson to get this color. We can then adjust the temperature, some cooler, some maybe warmer. This part is cooler. Some vegetation on top. It's greener. Okay, there's some cliff that's brown. We'll add that. So you can do that. Okay, I think for the green to show, we need to have some brown underneath. So we can just use some burn sienna, but burn sienna may be too strong. You can use it only on the foreground. The middle, we can use raw amber, or you can mix a little ochre with the burn sienna, maybe to lighten it. Okay, let me do some warm here. And the rock is basically the shape of a box. Just paint the box, but make it look like a torn box. You know, not like a brand new box. So. This brush I use is called the Mast Dot brush. The most saturated part in the rock, you can see, is it's the dark and the light, between dark and light planes. So, and then the real dark part, the shady part, has the reflection. So it should, you know, it should look like a black or too dark. That's a very common misconception, that you do the whole shady part with dark. You can use color temperature to distinguish the size with just the cool and warm. You know, I tried to do this side a little cooler with more blue in it, or purple. Purple, it has red, yeah. It's just more blue. But you can see, you start to see some warm also in as the reflective light kicks in. A dry brush on wet is it's a good combination. Excuse me. So I'm doing more like a medium value right now, with more secondary color, mixed colors. So I try to do the shade under the side that's facing the ground, you know, the shading with cast shadow, maybe a little bit darker. You cannot keep working on wet into wet. You have to wait. If one take is not enough, you can always go back. Okay. You can do a little bit negative painting, but if you use opaque color, you don't have to save those shapes. I tend to do the tree trunk first, just like we do watercolor. I mean Chinese painting, but maybe in watercolor you do the leaves. I'm not sure what's the best way, but whatever you feel comfortable is fine. And also depends on the timing. If the paper is too wet, you have to wait. Okay. Oh, here is another supporting rock we need to define. Okay, I try to do this top plane a little warmer, and then become cooler in the shade. Also on the right side is cooler. And on this side, just use burnt sienna, or maybe you can even use some oranges on top of that. Oops, that's too red. Okay, let's take that off. Okay. This is too dark. I wanted the chi to pass that this area. It's too dark, so you can maybe blot a little bit away. Add some water. Watercolor has a lot of room to change, actually, more than what we believe. Okay, let's do this foreground trees. So just use some brown first, and then you can use dark to do the shadows. Keep the crown of the characteristic of the pine is the flat crown, flat like a umbrella shape, right? So, and you can leave a little holes between the branches here and there. That's a very characteristic. Let's do that. It's still too wet, so we'll manage our time based on the situation. Now we can do this side maybe first. So I'll just use some dark. We call this kind of texture stroke the X cut. It could be the action or the trace of the X, both. Okay, look at this. Okay, you press and quickly swift and lift like that. That's the just like a you cut the log wood with an axe. And I tried to put this on the shady part of the rock, but sometimes the whole surface is shaded, so you can just do the whole block. Okay, and then maybe we can use another brush, so we don't have to change warm and cool. Okay, let's just do this. Sometimes I just paint it in dark, and then if it's too dark, I block it. So the light you take it away is different than you put on the right light first. You know, I mean, you blend it from on the palette, so you can create a light by blotting. Warm on top, cool on the bottom. You vary the size and maybe a little bit angle, something like that. Okay, so we need to define this part, and some vertical too, like the cracks. Okay, this small one. Okay, you can wet the bottom, maybe to let it just blend in. Oops. I wanted the tree to interrupt that in the front, right? All right. So this is in the lit side. This is the shady side. Make it clear. And this part. I try to make some sections larger, some medium, and some small. Not just the same like a brick wall. You know, you want to create a rhythm. Okay, let's do a small tree there. Okay, you can just use a little bit green. I like to use this oriental one, maybe. That's too strong. You can use the brush head with a split. So it's a flattened brush head, bristle to the pines. It's easier that way. And you can just add a little more vertical bars to represent the tree trunk, and some horizontal suggest the branches. And just dab a little hard on top of that. Okay. For the foliage. Okay, you can also put foliage on top of the stone. And these dots we call the Mast Dots. This is the Mast Dot brush. It's designed to do this. You can cover the part that doesn't look right. Just don't cover the good part, so you can use those dots to adjust the lines you have done. Okay. I'll just mute this green with a little brown. You can mix some turquoise and yellow, maybe, to get green. Turquoise and lemon. Okay. Some moss on the stone. Okay. Do some calligraphic strokes for the trunk here, just like you would do with brush painting. And some tiny branches there, and then add those leaves. It could be a little bit more detailed, like you would, but I would not really do the pine needles like we traditionally see in classical Chinese painting. Here we still try to depict the light. You know, we try to create the concentration is on the idea of light, the shadow. Try to depict those. So to do that, we can add a little shady part on the right side, on the right side of the trunk. Okay, just the underside of the trunk a little bit. Or, you know, some exposed part is more reddish, warm, and some shady part under the pine needle or the foliage is darker brown, something like that. Okay, we can use some more saturated green here. I think we got I think a cello or kind of Persian blue. You can mix them with some yellow. Okay, here we got a nice water stain. I'm not sure if I should keep that or not. You can have some more yellowish, some more bluish. The yellow, the light should be on the top, facing the sky. And you can have some more yellow to start with, then you can do the dark under it, I think. Okay, let me add some dark. Just to finish this. This one takes more time because this one is in the front, right? Let's just do another tree to finish this. Okay, some brown, some gray. Okay. This color should, could be very close, in value, close to this shady part, so they don't have to be different. I want to create a contrast between the front or the middle ground and the background here. That's the main thing to worry about. Okay. And some more definition on the rock could be more or less. I don't know, if these are trees or a rock or whatever. I just want to indicate the light. That's all I need to worry. And some refractive light. Okay. Oops. Okay, we can have some warm here. This could be a little warmer. It will pop. Too yellow. Just some exposed rock here and there in the trees. And this one should be a little less detailed than this. Right. Okay. Let's do some more leaves. Because you can use sap green, maybe, or sap greens here. Or viridian blue or something. Viridian blue. Okay. And I try to make several layers. I mean, depths in terms of the distance. So this first is a little darker, but not too dark compared to this one. Okay. And you can, we won't see the individual trees in this distance. We can suggest them with some verticals later, maybe. Add some more blue when we go to this part. But there are some very vibrant yellow. That's just for design purpose, I think, it's to grab attention. Okay, so we need to make this part a little bit lighter. And then, oops, this is kind of dark. I try to define the shape of the clouds, you know, a little bit. I use the heel of the brush to paint. That's a soft, not instead of the using the tip like this. You know, I use the heel, and it could be clean water on the heel of the brush just to soften that edge. And you can use clean brush to soften that. Okay, and there's some gray on this corner. You can get some dry brush, suggested little details. Okay, very important to integrate this part. I think we're getting kind of chaotic. Let's integrate them with just a flat green wash first, maybe the same value. Okay, and then separate them with more variations. This part also. Okay. Want to have the rock. We start to worry about this, whatever the stone sculpture kind of on top, just strange stones, animal-shaped stones. We call. We usually give them names like a Totoro or dragon or whatever it resembles. This is usually the viewpoint on tourist map. At certain angle, it look like this or that, you know, that kind of place. Okay. A small one, a big one. Just a flat wash, I think. More sky color, maybe. Just any dirty color diluted will be fine. On top of that. Okay, in the composition, we need to worry about this mountain is in front of that, and then maybe at least 3 different distance, right? So this part still needs to be a little stronger, I think. But you don't want to put dark near the edge of the frame, so be careful with that. Okay, that goes in, and we need to separate this too with some more color. You can just put a little brown here. front. We did a lot of green. This is more bluish, right? So you can use split brush, like we do with some contemporary artists like Fubashi. Split landscape brush, you can do that. But in watercolor, we don't use that much. Still, like we emphasize on the light, not not the texture. So this should be a little cooler. Right? Too dark. And you can have some sky color there showing. Okay, let's don't mess with the wet too much. We want to do something here, I think. So just define this rock. That's a focal point, actually. So we need to be careful. Time we have, okay, good. So this part has some stripes, like a white tiger or some stone or something by itself, but there's a tiger on top, right? And you want to make sure it's lighter than the front, so it goes behind. You can vary the color, the cold and the warm. Okay, a lot of kicking, what we call the X cut here. You can cut like this along the contour. The key of this technique is this is called a surface texture, right? You place it on one side of the contour, not both sides. That's a rule of thumb. So you as long as you do that, you should make the let's say if we want to make this part pop, we do this, and you can do this, but don't do this on both left and right. You understand? Only on the shady part, maybe. So you could have a little shade there. Okay, here you can have the opposite direction, but not on that side. Let's gradually fade out. Each layer should vary in value or temperature, warm or cool, you know, so they not repeat. Okay. I have some yellow, orange color. Okay, there's like a grass vegetation on top. That's green. You can use it's a flat platform. Or just use green or yellow, and then you put the green on that. Oops. Should be going down. Okay, just put some dark. Okay, you can mix some ultra and burnt sienna to get some gray, but should be lighter than this one. That's very important. Okay, we'll try to do a cast shadow under the tiger. I try to define some rocks with the contour. Okay, try to make the shapes varied, not too square, not the same. That kind of obvious mistakes should be avoided. Okay, we can make this cliff in and out a little bit, maybe. Okay. Generally, this is more in the shady side, the shady part. Okay. Have a little bit of branches. Yeah, you can take a look at the hole. Always, I should have done this distant. I think I now have to do that. So the distant mountain don't have any contour. Okay, maybe a little bit here on this side. There's nothing there. So I would do with a very light blue, purple, maybe. There's still a little bit local color there, so you can use some gray brown to start with, maybe a little bit here for the light part, and then goes up there. So that's the left side. Now you can add some purple, blue. Maybe add this swimming pool color to the green or blue to get that. Okay, and some for the shady part. Let's do this side. This is the same color as maybe that. So a little bit bluer. That looks good. I think a little bit purple is what I like. You can add blue to it later. So the base is more like a blue, purplish blue. So this goes like that. Oops. Okay, like a blotting, and then you can regrade it, just blend it a little more. I don't mess with it. Try to keep the initial stroke, the power of the calligraphy. You can have a little bit there. Okay, here the last layer is more blue and pink. Okay, let's put a little bit magenta with this. I'm trying to leave a gorge kind of gap between the two sides there. And you can use clean water to spread it. Actually, my clean water is not really clean, it has some gray, that's good, just to extend it. And there's some subtle space there, you can make it even narrower with some steps. Oops, that's the worm should be on the other side. Well, that's okay. And it's just like a needle space between the two. Okay, be very subtle. Okay, I just put a little more in the surrounding area also. A lot of vermilion or pink to create an auspicious feel.
Henry,
Yes.
there is a question. What is the purpose of pressing the heel of brush?
Pressing the heel. I try to do this mountain foot. We call the foot of, well, not foot of clouds, but mountain foot, where you have the it goes into the mist, right? So if the heel is clean, then you can get the gradation done in one stroke instead of blend it on the paper. You can still do that, but let me try here maybe, especially when we do on rice paper. I think on watercolor paper it tends to flat to spread. But on rice paper, it keeps the gradation in place, you know. So if I have colors on the front and the water on the heel, so you can see the shape I create on this area is soft, right? This is done with the heel. If I do this, you will see a hard line between. You'll see a hard shape right there, right? You understand? If you use the tip to paint, you get the hard line. if you use the heel to paint, you got soft line. That's
Thank
one.
you.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, because on the hill there is basically just water. So
So your
color
heel
is
should be
very
lighter,
faint.
or just clean water, so it just blend in better. But on this kind of paper, it's kind of hard because it doesn't bleed. It doesn't bleed. And also it tends to spread. So you might have to do it in other ways. It may not work. But I didn't have my clean water there. I think it still had the line, even I did this. But it doesn't matter. It's okay. As long as you have this different steps from more saturated to less saturated, you will still have the feel of clouds, mist. Okay. Yeah, just for painting the clouds, I think it's an easy way to do. Okay, I'm going to do this little tigers on this end of this. So this is the main thing. So we need to use really saturated color. So you can see that the orange color, and let me see what. I think we did. This is a front. It should looking at the left, right? So you just do a tiger like that. So a little bit suggestion of the head. Just the top plane is white, and then the chest is a little lighter. I think that's probably it. Okay, and you can doesn't shit. Don't mess too much. It could be a stone tiger, but my clients in this case they did want to hide the tiger there, a real tiger, so we just do a real tiger. And this side is a stone, so we use gray instead of the real color of the tiger. But you can have a little bit brown in it because the sky is red, right? So we just do a profile of something. It could be a monkey or something like that. Just the stone on top of the hill. So let's do some green. And here I want to create some activity here. So using Mast Dots, but still it should have some kind of structure to land this on. So I need to maybe have some texture of the rock formation. So it's not look like a cotton or something else, too soft, right? So make people to believe they are rocks, and that you can put some brown contour or something, and then you put these dots on top of that. The dark could be later, so you can do the more medium first and then dark. Okay, just symbolically. Okay, here we're actually doing the rock shape. The trees is, or the moss is on the surface of this rock. I think I'm shifting the size of the shade. That's okay. And you can make this dark on this side still, yeah. Just sometimes if you're bound by those kind of scientific ideas, then you really lose the artistic part. So, you know, if I'm thinking the light theory, I cannot really, I'm limited by those, what I can do, right? So I can break that rule by just keep this entire rock in the light.
Henry, it's 3 o'clock.
Oh, okay. We'll have half an hour? Okay.
Yes.
Let me finish maybe in 10 minutes, then we'll do a little critique section. Thank you for reminding me. Okay. Let me take a look of the whole thing. You can have more dots on this front also always, because there should be more details right there. But it should balance, you know, this painting is different than last painting, so I need to balance my new painting itself. Whoops, that's too blue. Let's change that. We can just wash a little bit. You don't have to use dots, you can just wash it. So it will bring lichens or moss to the vegetation to these rocks, right? Oh, I haven't finished this corner. Let me complete necessary part first. So a little bit purplish blue to finish this part. It has a little bit detail, a peak. Maybe this is considered this back mountain of the tiger. You know, it makes the tiger feels more powerful with the high peak behind. Oops. Just some dirty color. Okay, this in the front of the pink one, but behind this one. So the darkness needs to be hierarchical, not equal. Oops. But this stroke should be less as we going, you know, to the back. More pink. I like that color, so I just complete this. Whoops, shady part there. Okay, I'll use some wet brush to soften this. Put a little bit green to that. staccato strokes to create a rhythm. Oops. Great. Okay, let me see. Give me 3 minutes more to finish, and then we'll do the critique. I just try to work some edges and unwanted whites. Okay. That's about it. So, where do I sign? I think it's on this side. Yeah. You can also sign on the more hidden place. This usually should leave it either leave the 2 corners. It should be one left void. The other is filled, so we maybe sign on this side instead. You can combine these shapes, don't have to, so the tree doesn't look like a cutout too much. So just as long as we can distinguish the 2 layers, we'll be fine. Okay, I can use red color. Usually we do that with signature in Chinese painting, right? So we'll just use red here. I put on the rock, maybe. This part a little bit more. This rock looks like it's popped too much. Maybe put it hidden behind some vegetation. Maybe you can put some dark, like a shady part of the trees. Let me just put it here. Okay. Okay, that's the complete painting. Just put it here. You want a closer look? So, draft. And notice the edges are not dead, just contoured. Try to indicate the sense of the light. It's more important in watercolor painting. Okay, but I'm still confused with the direction of light because I'm not really used to sync all the way like that. Hope you do better. Let me see. Let me just put a little blue here. So on a distance, we should see more blue. Okay, just put a little bit more. Okay, let me open the discussion now.
Okay. So as a reminder, this session, as usual, is being recorded so that you could refer to it later. If you do not want to show your face, you could turn off your video camera. If you are showing your work, it will be recorded. Your voice, your name, your work will be recorded. Okay, now if you want to show your work, please raise your hand either electronically or on screen. I see Suzanne first.
Suzanne, let me replace.
So here is Suzanne.
Oops, okay, we got Suzanne's. Okay, very good composition. I like the texture shaping or shading strokes you have done on the rocks. My suggestion would be the greens could be a little varied on some of the parts, so they're not just a single kind of. It could be more brown or more blue here and there. And on the right side, it could be a little more vegetation on the rock. Yeah, I like the sky, the pink sky. I mean the peachy sky looks really auspicious to me. You can have a little bit warm, even in the foreground clouds. Maybe a little bit. I think you got purple there. So it looks fine. Yeah, could be. I just integrate the whole thing, with a overall maybe a tone, with more warm, because the yellow you got is towards the cool side. I'm not sure if I got it that the yellow could be a little bit more orange and brown. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Okay. Laura, your camera needs to be on in order to be spotlighted.
Laura, okay, we saw that.
Next.
Yeah.
Right.
Laura is always subtle scheme. I like the color, the watercolor look of and the feel of it. Very good. I like the composition you got. It's like looking up from the tree level. Very nice. The foreground could be a little darker than the back, so it will create more depth. The rock, yeah, this is yeah, everything in it could be a little bit accenting on the trees, but the rock I'm talking about, the main rock, yeah, this part could be a little bit darker, especially the dark and the light. The division area between the dark and the light could be a little bit under the main rock, right? The middle part could be not just the straight line, but some in and outs. That lines could be a little stronger. I like the right side. That's about right. But the front rock definitely more definition. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very misty feel. Great.
Okay, it's Charlene next.
Oh, Charlene. Okay, Charlene. No, yeah, just hold it in front of your head. Hold the picture high up. Okay. Yeah. Turn a little back. Okay, now we can see. Okay, yeah. You are done on rice paper or watercolor paper? You're muted. Okay. Looks like Chinese painting to me. I like the silhouette shape of those mountains. They remind me of Qing Dynasty Huangshan school painters, like Shitaos. Very very nice traditional style. Yeah, I do see the tiger on the peak with the orange color. Very good. It just completes the vegetation and trees. Yeah, you'll be a nice painting. Thank you, Charlie.
Okay, it's Shirley next.
Can you change the spotlight? Let me see. Okay, now we go. Shirley. Hi, Shirley. Yeah, it's not we're focused. Maybe a little bit back. Okay. Yeah, better. Okay. Yeah, you have like a horizontal landscape. So the right side is a little bit heavier compared to it's off balance to the left side. So I think you can trim a little bit, like a 1/5 or something like that. Yeah, it will be better balanced. The right side is a little too heavy. I like the distant mountains. Yeah, so you just don't need the extra rocks on the right side because that's too dominant. Yeah, that's about that. Just like as you zoom in, you just kind of like a 1/5 at least. It should look much better. Yeah, your composition will be, but yeah, something like that. Right. The foot of the mountain, the clouds could be a little bit more. You can extend the foot of the mountain into clouds and make the shape of the clouds a little bit wavy, more cursive, maybe like a more like a moving clouds. Okay, and other than that, I think I like the tone, and the color could be a little more contrasty, like the bronze and the blues could be not the yellow is dominant, so you can have some more red or brown and some blues to balance the yellow. Okay, very good.
Okay, Trisha.
Trisha. Okay.
I use this Archer.
Archer's cold press. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Not much to
mild texture.
Yeah, a little less normal texture actually. Yeah. Okay. I like the texture. The rock texture is wonderful. I think it's the same abstract style maybe that attract me. Yeah, you can keep this style. It works for you. And
I was looking at this one of yours.
yeah, that's the original one I did earlier. I haven't finished, but you do very good. But you don't have to copy that. Just concentrate on from now to solve problems, if any. So the purple stroke in the middle needs to be defined. You can make it into a rock or something, right? The under part, yeah, right there. So that slant stroke is like a focus, but it's what you can put a tree on top of that or something, a rock. Just turn it into a what in your painting. That would be nice. But it's a little bit in the center, the dead center. So maybe just blend it in with the rest of it, and then put the emphasis on the right side of that to make that tree, maybe cover part of that overlap. Put that behind the tree. Yeah, just put that right. Just extend the main pine tree. Yeah, on the rock on the right side of that. Overlap that, so it will put that purple behind. Now it's like a jumping to the front, like call too much attention. So that's look like an unfinished part.
It's not in the mist.
It's not in the mist, right? Yeah, just put it behind something or something. It will be fine.
Bring that tree over.
Yeah, right. Okay. Just to solve this problem somehow.
Okay.
That's the
next is Bonita.
Bonita. Okay, replace, remove. Let me. Okay, we get Bonita. Okay. So I like the color in the middle. The rock really stand out, and you have nice trees around that. The only thing I would consider is the brown block, and under the tiger, it could be a little bit softer, but I think okay, you have a slant slope in front of that. It works. So far, I think it's probably okay. Just to put a little bit variation into the brown, just make some shady part a little bluer to spread that top blue a little bit to the bottom, maybe somehow, so that the brown shape, that triangle shape, is not so flat. That will work, I think. Just to make some division. I think you already have some division, and just make something similar to the right rock, but lighter, in a lighter tone. Yeah. The left side, you need to kind of blend in a little bit. The strokes a little bit look drafty. Try to harmonize it a little bit, right? The left side mountain and the trees, maybe just to harmonize a little bit, maybe soften it by it could be too dark, so you may use some kind of opaque green, maybe to fog out those strokes, to cover those strong strokes. So it will look more harmonized with the other part. Okay. Very good. I like the sky and the distant mountains you did. It's very misty.
Henry, I do not see other participants with their work or raising their hands. I'm curious. We have quite a few silent participants. Do you have questions? Even if you don't want to show your work. Okay, now somebody.
Diane's work is there. Yeah, I like the composition. You have like 3 trees in a perspective line from this. Yeah, it can lead the eye into the rock on the left. There should be something there, right? Look. Yeah, it could be a little brown or something to end that, and then something look back to the tiger. I think this one is close to the our original draft, right? The mountain. That's I like the purple mountains. It's good contrast with the brown tiger.
Okay.
Yeah, very good. Just try to harmonize a little bit more on the other side of the tiger mountain. Maybe that
Okay.
the mountain need to be finished, and you can put some other color in the purple on the right side. Other than the purple, could be a little brown, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, and then some green, yellow on top. Okay, very good.
Okay, thank you.
Very creative, like that. Okay, but Dan's. Any other
I
participants?
see, so that's what we do.
I
Zoom.
think I see
Fine.
Barbara raising the
I got
hand,
I got
right?
another painting I can spotlight.
It's Barbara
We
now.
don't get too much milk.
This is
Please mute in the background if you are not.
I can Barbara I can. Okay, let me mute everybody and then you can unmute yourself, Barbara. Again, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I know you have traditional background and that really shows. I really love this one, tell you the truth. I like the color, it's very misty. I love everything from the yellow, green, the purple and the blues, and very subtle. That's the best thing I like. Very subtle. Did you do it with like double paper or something? It's so subtle. Oh, it's still wet.
I think it's double strand.
Double strand.
And my tiger is going to have to emerge later.
No, forget about that. If you don't like, that's good. Yeah, I think you don't have to add tiger now. It's a very very good Kwangshan kind of painting of Zhang Jiajie. I like the elevation you got. The elevation I like the top the height of the mountain. It feels so majestic. I love the trees. It just shows all your training of years of study in, especially your recent enrollment in your academics class, right? Even you don't like it, it shows.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was fun to work on. Thank you. It's complicated.
Yeah.
Henry,
Yeah.
there's a question. Can you just tell us how you would finish up the Chinese painting?
Oh, okay. Let me.
Was that the shrimp paper or mulberry?
Mulberry, number
Mulberry.
one.
Could you show us or just tell us how you would touch up the finish?
Okay, let me. I think I was going to color everything just like the watercolor, but if you think it's finished, I can stop at any time. So let's say we have 1 minute. We can just do a little more. So I can add a little more green on this side, definitely. And let me see. I can get some green mix here. So we can make this rock. I think this might be a little greener. Okay, we need to make the front. It just what do you think is unfinished? Is because the color, or it could be considered finished anytime, you know. Okay. Yeah, because my original client, they what they don't like this draft is the plainness, you know, without the greens. So I had to add more and more greens as we, and they eventually requested no black. So but I cannot change that in this the first version. And we can certainly add some brown to the black trunk to make it a little bit more colorful. Okay. Whoops, that's it. That's a strong stroke. The browns ideally should come first before the greens, I think. Classically, that's what we normally do. Okay, this is a little bit too strong, maybe. So I finished. Let me know if it's finished. Okay. Okay, I don't think we need to do the distant mountains. You just leave it purplish gray. It's okay, I think. And we maybe add a little bit brown just to warm it up a little bit on this layer. But I leave the most distant layer just a cool color, right? Okay, the mist you can have, the more layers you wash, the more depths you might get, but don't lose all the white. Right. That's about it, I think. So I got the greens. It might look too strong, but it will fade after it dries, I think. This Japanese paint is definitely more saturated than the Chinese colors. You can see this really strong.
Henry, this is the Yasutomo Sumie
Yasutomo.
I think paint. You mentioned that the paint is much more opaque than the Marie's watercolor painting.
It's.
I know that Marie's watercolor has
opaque colors, right?
A few of them that's opaque.
Right.
Every single one of these colors.
Yes, it's kind of like that. It's
opaque.
It's like opaque.
Every single one color.
Yeah,
every single color. It's not just certain colors.
Right. It's more pastel look feel, and that's right.
So it might be interesting to have two boxes of the paint, one Marie's and one
I can. You can
create interesting effects.
You can. Yeah, you can use. You can mix the watercolor with these colors, or use other Chinese colors. It just like a different brand of Western color. They all have a little bit different, even they have the same name. The ultramarines, for example, is different. Winsor Root and Daniel Smith or Holbein, it's all different, right? So the cobalt is different from each brand.
Would you recommend using the high chromo core?
Yeah, I like that color on this, and you can certainly make a difference if you use those colors. So let me see if I just dry this, and then we can add another cool color on top of this. Just a minute. So let's dry this first, Let me cover the paper with some. I need to protect it. If my dryer is clean, I can just do it without but it's better to put a protection sheets. Okay. I'll just use another piece of mulberry paper here, not to waste that. So I just dry this layer first, and then we can use transparent watercolor to change the hue or the temperature of the vibrancy, of the Chinese color or Oriental color, and so you'll have both words of the strengths of both words. Advantage of both, because the Chinese or Japanese color have this like opacity, the depths or the muted feel, right? Also, this kind of the paper will also have this kind of natural texture. So now we can add a little. For example, this looks too pastel, right? And then we can add some Western color, just the cobalt and the yellow, just see how it looks like. If you don't like this too strong, you can use a little bit cerulean blue, maybe. That's more natural. Okay. So if we want to make this part really vibrant, you can see how vibrant that would be, and some of that can really change the game. So some highlight, some maybe just add the light to it. Okay, the top of the trees, maybe a little bit of yellow. And here we have some vegetation there. This part should be a little bit brown. I mean brown, bluer. This it could be you can just add a blue because we already have. This is not covering, right? So you just add those there. And you can use the sap green is already green, like or olive green. I'm not sure. This is really sap green, I think. Let's see what they look like. So this is what we call glazing in watercolor. You can glaze the ink painting and opaque. Maybe you put the opaque on the back side. If you haven't mounted, you can do that. And then the glaze, the transparent color on the front. That changed the hue of your. You see, this part is really muted right now, but we can make it a little bit stronger. I mean, saturated. I'm just experimenting, so it might be over too much. Let me know what do you think. Okay, can put a little red on the tiger. Some orange color that will make it stand out. So the watercolor really help to bring the vibrancy. This particular brand is really strong in color vibrancy. Okay. Can you see the whole thing? Here with some ink maybe. Oh, look, I got black. Be careful. Okay, just to break this line a little bit, maybe just some Mast Dots, right? Some Mast Dots at the last. Still, if you still like black to be on the front, you can do that with as the last touches the dark. Okay, that's all. I don't have to.
Somebody mentioned that they also use another very nice brand of Japanese paint. It's a Kuritake Gansai Kanbei. They coming in pens, and they got it from St. Louis Art Supply.
Yeah, there are many.
They have small sets.
We also
very large one.
we also have I don't have the cover. I think that maybe I have. Oh, okay. Yeah, we have this brand. I don't know how to this is the English name for that. This is the Mo Yun Tang. I don't know how to read that in. This is the brand.
It's fuzzy. The Chinese word is fuzzy. Doesn't show.
Yeah, this
Mo is ink.
Ink luck. How?
I don't know. I cannot see.
Yeah, ink.
Did you like that?
We carried this 12 color set, but I used most of them, so yeah, you can also get. So I think they are about the same texture or opacity, so you can use anything you get from online or local stores. That's all work. So just use it on rice paper. I won't use it on arches, because arches really shows the classical watercolor the best still. Also, you can maybe some brand that they were designed for that, but this is a little bit too strong on arches, maybe for some traditional conservative artists. So if you use on rice paper, it actually looks, as you can see, it's pretty good on rice paper. So I've been using them for this project, especially exclusively for this project. So if you want to get the vibrancy of this, like you see on the calendar, that's what I got. All right.
Okay.
It's more luminous. Yeah, luminous.
So for everybody, thank you for your participation. Henry is going to do a new series of chinois story painting, and for that style of painting, Henry told me earlier that hot press watercolor paper would be perfect because it's smoother and because it's less absorbent. So it's hot press watercolor paper.
Yeah, we need to do a lot of gradation.
You could start to find that.
Right. Because the gradation, like double brush wash, you want to create a very smooth transition. On rough paper, it's kind of hard to do, to move pens around. So traditionally they use silk, because silk is very easy to manipulate, to move pens around, and hot press is also smoother than cold press, less absorbent than cold press. I think the cold press are almost like size, unsized shrine, and hot press is like a sized shrine. You know the difference in rice paper. So it's more. Ironically, hot paper is also good for abstract painters, like flowing pens, pouring ink, that kind of thing. So if you want to explore that, we will use that. You can also use any other hot press paper. Even computer paper is smooth, right? And Bristol paper, or the paper I mentioned earlier, mixed media paper, is all work. Like this one is hot pressed. You can see the stain, or what do you call the puddle edge. That's.
Can you zoom in closer, Henry, to show the edge of the puddle? That's right up.
It's out of focus. I have to refocus it. Yeah, this is hot press versus the cold press underneath it. You can see the difference, right? The texture on this artist paper and the texture on this smooth paper is very different. I can show you some other studies I've done on this. This is on hot press. You can see the edge is harder. I mean, it's finer. And on this page, you can still get that actually, but they have more bumps, so it's easier to get those little bits of white. You may not need it in the Gombe painting. Okay, that's the reason we use smoother paper.
Right, and then also if you want to use the sized shrimp instead of a hot press watercolor paper, that's fine.
Yeah, you can use
it's smooth.
Right, the Gombe paper, the sized shrine. You can use the Cigata wing shrine, which is very thin one. It's easy to make transfer of the design, which is very important. We want to, if you have a light box, it will be very helpful. I'll give you like a line template for each class, okay? And then we do it without the outline. That's the difference between chinoiserie and the Gombe painting. They eliminate the ink lines, just like we do watercolor landscape. We don't use ink, but it's different than this. It's more decorative. You'll see on old furniture, fabric, wallpaper, all kind of interior design. It's very trendy recently. There's a book I just bought, not in here, but there's a company in UK. They make beautiful interior designs. It's what is that? I'll send you the reference to books maybe later.
Okay, I also want to chip in to share an experience. I visited old Westbury Garden over the weekend, and they have very good example of chinoiserie painting wallpaper. The patterns on the wallpaper was not repeated. It was all original, painted on silk. And if you have a chance of visiting the old Westbury Garden or some other mansions, I'm sure you could see interesting style paintings and furnitures and
wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, I share that with Henry, and maybe in the future when we have these classes, I will
definitely
we'll talk more about that.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for your participation and support. We will see you next week. Have a great day and happy painting.
Thank you, Yong. Happy Librarians Day.
Yes, yes. Thank you to my coworker also at Mapleton Library that make this possible. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.